Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here again on Forza Horizon 5 to take a look at the fourth and final brand new vehicle added as part of Series 20, which is this Porsche Mission R electric race car. To obtain this car, all you have to do is get 20 points in the Spring Festival playlist, which as you can see I've done by doing the trial, a couple of seasonal championships, the photo challenge, and of course the two rivals events that I did at the beginning of the series. Like I say, it's the fourth brand new vehicle added. In winter we of course got the RS6, autumn the 935, and summer the Huracan STO, all of which are brand new to Forza. So let's hope we get 4 brand new cars in the overlanding themed Explore the Horizon update next series. So, a bit like the Porsche 935 we got a couple of weeks ago, this thing was shown in the upcoming Forza Motorsport trailers as a new exclusive racing car for that game. At least that's kind of what we assumed from seeing it in there. But then it just randomly turns up in Horizon, just like that Porsche did a couple of weeks ago, which to me just seems like that wasn't really the original plan. I think maybe what's going on is that they've seen how negatively the community have looked at the recent updates and all of the recycled cars that were advertised as new, and they've panicked a bit, basically, deciding to add as many new things as possible, as quickly as possible. Although it kind of now means the motorsport game's less exciting because there's less exclusive new cars in that, so it's kind of at the expense of that game. So I just hope there are some new cars, exclusives, that they're saving for that as well. Otherwise, there's not going to be anything new for us to drive when we switch from Horizon to Motorsport. Anyway, enough speculation on the reasoning. The car is here, so let's take a look at it. It's quite an interesting thing. It produces 671 horsepower, but being electric weighs 1,500 kilos, which for a machine purely designed for racing is the equivalent to taking part in a container ship. It's also all-wheel drive, which contributes to that weight probably, and has many downforces, putting it at S2 Class 925 from standard here in Horizon 5. So, in terms of upgrades and customization, 1 being a racing car and 2 being electric means there's doubly not as many upgrades as there would be on a road car, say. So, there's the motor and battery upgrades, so you can do this, which then puts you up from 670 horsepower to 1,147 horsepower if you're completely mad, which apparently is the equivalent of the race mode that this car would have in reality, so it would be capable of producing that many horsepowers, but Forza have done it with an upgrade, so you can choose which one you want. I still don't know why that isn't a feature like race mode is on some other cars, or the convertible tops, why they don't do it like that on more cars, as that was such a highly advertised feature. Anyway, as well as that, you've got race brakes, which for some reason it isn't already on, off-road springs if you want it to look like that, and drift springs if you want to do sidewaysing. There's also weight reduction, which is probably quite useful on this, although it's still not exactly a feather. Anyway, you've obviously got your diffs and your tyres and wheels and track widths and things like that. But yeah, there's not really a lot of options, as you might expect. The same, of course, goes for the paint options. There's only one manufacturer option, just like with the 935, which is this rather cool Porsche livery, so I think I'm probably going to leave that on, for the time being at least. So first off, once we had unlocked the car, we pitched it against the other cars from this update in a drag race. Slightly surprisingly though, this thing came out second, where I would have expected that Huracan STO to overtake it before the end, because generally road cars have a higher top speed, top end than racing things, but this thing got such a good launch that it had no chance. Although we did later find out that the 935 that won the drag race was in fact modified, so stock may not have won and this thing might have come out on top. I think that's unlikely. I think the 935 probably should have won that. But yeah, this thing had a fantastic launch, which meant the other cars didn't really have a chance of catching it before the end. So after that, for a bit of fun, after that drag race, we decided to race this Mission R against a 918 Spider, which unsurprisingly destroyed this racing vehicle in a straight line, the 918 after all being, well, pretty fast. We did also attempt some S2 Class Horizon Open in this thing, mostly because any of the tunes dropping it into S1, which is what we tried to do first, seemed pretty awful, with even the people sharing them saying they weren't very good, with names like I Tried and bad S1 class. So yes, S2 it was, which went predictably well. The rear on this car actually with the tune was so loose in the corners, even though S2 meant you could retain those super grippy tyres. It had a lot less grip than even the usual tunes that I try when we do S1 class racing with some of the cars that are added in these updates. So yeah, it was a bit of a disaster really. As well as that, the turn into the corners seemed very unpredictable, sometimes not really turning all that much, or turning the sort of amount you would expect, and other times turning in so sharply that I was caught by surprise and actually missed some checkpoints on the inside of a couple of corners. So not really a good car for racing then. Partly I don't like S2 anyway, so I probably wouldn't be using it if that's the only category it's good in, but it wasn't even good in S2. So yeah, not going to be useful in S1 or S2, I don't think. It's not even fun to drive, it was all over the place and just a bit horrible, really. Which is why we then decided to give it to Fail to make one of his iconic win liveries, and then participate in some playground games. So here's that to round out today's review of this car.
Tools are better than rules.
Wow.
How was Fail quick with the win livery? Because Fail
has much practice at doing these.
Yeah, I am very good at making Lin liveries on a very short time. Oh, heavens!
He has been known to make them during the DRS before.
Aha! I just juked Jerry by dying. At least it makes a better noise than this stupid thing.
What? He didn't touch me.
I
did. I didn't...
Help.
Excellent teamwork, Team Lotus.
Fail, you pleb.
No, we wouldn't like to use this in the DRS, because quite frankly, I don't have to listen to this sound for half an hour.
And it drives horribly. We need to bring back the prize sticker.
The prize is brought back on a lot of the liveries. I forgot about it.
And that is going to do it for a very first look at the Porsche Mission R here on Forza Horizon 5. So yeah, a little bit of an odd decision for them to put it into this game, given it was supposed to be one of the sort of main advertisement points for the new motorsport game. But I kind of get why they're doing it. They want to put new content in here because, well, there's been a lot of complaints about the recycling. So it is great to see 4 new cars added in the month, even if they are made up of things that should have been reserved for that upcoming motorsport title. It's not a car that personally I'm that excited by, but it is great to see, like I say, 4 brand new vehicles added, so I'm not going to complain about that. From stock, it's quite interesting to drive. It's not the fastest thing in the world, quite heavy like you might expect from an electric vehicle. Not many upgrade and customization options. Again, it's a racing car and it's electric, so not too surprised by that. It's pretty awful at online racing, so don't use it for that, which isn't great given it's a racing car, but again, it is pretty heavy, and electric vehicles never handle that well in Forza. They do feel that weight. So yeah, not great for racing. Had a lot of fun with it in playground games. Wasn't too bad in the drag races. So overall, a kind of fun car, but not going to be great to use for anything. So I guess unlock it if you like collecting vehicles, but other than that, it's not really that great. But it is new, so yeah, it's a fun thing to play around with anyway. For now, though, that is going to be all. I do hope we get 4 brand new vehicles again in the overlanding themed update next. We'll wait and see what's announced for that. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with the next video very soon.